When sound effects hit shelves in November of 1980, the Jam were already Britain's sharpest dressed cultural commentators, a mod revival band who'd outgrown revivalism. By this point, Paul Weller wasn't just writing songs about working class life, he was chronicling the psychology of Thatcher era England, where disillusionment was as fashionable as Fred Perry shirts. Sound effects is where his pen got sharper, the rhythms got tighter, and the Jam found the perfect intersection between punk's fire, Motown's grooves, and pop art's irony. The record opens with the angular jolt of Pretty Green, a deceptively funky track that turns capitalism into a dance floor sneer. Weller's lyrics about money as the prettiest color in the world sound even more relevant in today's economy of influencer aspirations. It's a political song disguised as pop, or maybe pop disguised as politics. That duality defines sound effects, catchy enough for the radio, smart enough for the university crowd. Start lifts its bassline straight from the Beatles' Taxman, but where George Harrison smirked at the Taxman, Weller weaponized his groove into something leaner and meaner. Bruce Foxton's bass practically struts, and the horn-like guitar stabs gives the track a sharp Motown meets new wave energy. It's the sound of a band completely in control of their powers, confident, stylish, and too restless to stand still. The album's middle stretch shows the Jam stretching their palate. Monday is wistful, soul filtered through British restraint, while Man in the Corner Shop is observational poetry that could have come from Ray Davies if the Kinks had been raised on punk instead of skiffle. Weller watches the little man behind the counter with empathy and irony, sketching class systems with the detail of a novelist. You can almost smell the tea in stale newspapers. Then comes That's Entertainment, arguably the band's masterpiece, written famously after a night of heavy drinking and recording in a single take. It's a dirge dressed as a lullaby, a love letter to the mundane misery of British suburbia. A smash of glass and the rumble of boots, Weller turns ordinary images into tragic poetry, finding beauty and rage in equal measure. It's the anti-anthem of 1980s England, and somehow it still feels universal. Musically, sound effects is both tight and textural. Producer Vic Coopersmith-Heaven helps the Jam achieve a sound that's simultaneously minimal and rich. The drums snap, the bass hums, the guitars chime like alarm bells. There's a clear nod to post-punk's experimental edge, especially The Cure and The Wire. But the Jam never lose their melodic core. The result is a record that feels urgent yet timeless, as if Weller's energy was too big for any kind of single genre. And by the time Scrape Away closes the album, it's clear Sound Effects isn't just a collection of songs. It's a snapshot of a country in flux. The anger of punk had faded, the optimism of mod culture was nostalgia, and the Jam stood there at the crossroads, dissecting the sound of British identity with surgical precision. Now, in retrospect, Sound Effects was the Jam's creative peak, the bridge between the youthful rush of all mod cons and the reflective maturity of The Gift. And it's an album that sounds like a revolution wrapped in melody with the side of existential hangover. Sound Effects captures a band and a generation wrestling with meaning amid monotony. It's sharp, it's soulful and smart, proof that pop can protest just as effectively as it could entertain. So if you haven't listened to this album, check it out. Let me know what you